No. Shoot. How do I make that go away? Okay. Okay. Hello. Hi. Anahita here. Um, so I've been, first of all, thank you to those of you who, if you're here, say hi. Sometimes if you poke things, I can see you. Otherwise, I can't. Um, I've been reading those of you who responded to the survey, and a lot of you took the time to tell me about what's really going on with you and where your growth is and why didn't I have certain questions on the survey. And so you went ahead and told me where you were. So I really appreciate it. And my intention over the next few months or however long it takes is to go through and address what you shared and the things that were resonating, especially more than once. So today, I really wanted to talk about this. This is actually super important and dear to my heart. As you know, I just, I feel like it's nearly impossible to have a woman step into embodied feminine leadership without addressing her relationship with her body. And it's really this it's funny, there's these numbers that keep coming up and going away. There's this really there's this quote by Brené Brown that just resonates, and I use it a lot, which says that the number one area where women can be shamed is in the area of self-image and body image. And for me, this is so absolutely unacceptable, because I know that what, like, shame like really takes us out. And if we can be shamed at something like our bodies, which are actually like so divine and a source of life and a source of pleasure, and just so connected to our radiance and to our power and to our intuition, then I know that it prevents a lot of women from stepping forward. And I actually know a lot of women where it prevents them from stepping forward even more, whether it is in their leadership, whether it is in putting themselves out there for dating, whatever it is, right? So I wanted to just dive right in. So here's the thing, right? It's like this is like the tough love piece where I'm going to start, right? Our bodies, whether you carry a lot of weight, whether you don't carry a lot of weight, whether you have hunched over in the shoulders, because it's not just about weight, right? It's like about our relationship to it. But here's the thing, our bodies reflect our choices. That's just the bottom line of it, right? So they show what you're committed to. They show if you're committed to running yourself ragged to prove something. They show if you have a martyr complex. They show your priorities. And if your body is not on the priority list, they show that. And you can't hide it, right? You may be able to hide it from other people, but you know you can't hide it from yourself, because you see your choices constantly reflected back to in the mirror. You see it in how you feel, and how you feel when you wake up. You see it how you feel when you go to a yoga class and you can or can't do stuff. You see it in what hurts, right? Even if you have a lot of aches and pains, even if you're super active, but you, let's say, have like a pattern for catastrophic thinking and you go into fear a lot, and then that fear manifests in your body, even though you're a super fit person, nobody would think you have any health issues. you know you know that your body reflects your consciousness, your choices, and your commitment. And this is the place where I want to get real. There's also such a thing as genetics, but not some, like, we're not going to be a slave to our genetics forever, right? But not everybody's meant to be a size 2. Not everybody's meant to be a size 4. However, if you're a size 14, 16, 18, probably there's places where your commitments don't align with like a lot of self-care, right? Unless they do. I mean, I could just totally eat my words, because I know they're like super active yoginis who are in those teen ranges of sizes. But I also know that they're not in pain. I know that they're not looking in the mirror and going like, why this, why that? Because they're showing up, right? So there's that piece of genetics. Although I really believe in the work of Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I know that we can shift things. So it's not like we're stuck forever. And there's a piece of, our bodies, so much of what I teach in Beauty Unleashed in my signature program is about learning how to decode like the gifts of your beauty. So I also believe that our bodies carry codes. And so the shape of our body carries codes. They carry codes of certain archetypes, certain energetics. So, I don't think that everybody is meant to be like, look like a supermodel, because different frequencies hold hold different energetics for other people. And when you're fully in who you're meant to be, you get to really bring to you the people that are yours that need your medicine, right? So the things that I want to talk to you about around body image, shame. Yeah, so here's the thing. First of all, let's see. I have some notes and I'm like, what was the order of these things? Yeah. If you are taking care of yourself, if you are showing up in commitment for yourself and yeah, like you're on a path of loving your body, then it's kind of the same thing that we talked about around sexual shame. I would say pushing it to the edge, excuse me, that was a call that came in. Pushing it to the edge is another way, right? Like, so like if you're super uncomfortable in your body and you always are hiding it regardless of your size in like oversized clothing, I would say put on something super tight, like probably a size too small and with heels in a bright color and wear it out. Like you got to push yourself to the edge because otherwise you're never going to stop believing the nonsense that runs in your mind. Like I have a client and if she watches this, she's going to know who she is. But you know, she like wouldn't, no, actually there's several of them that didn't want to show their womb space. So they always wore things that covered like that space above the yoni, like just like between the belly button and the sexual organs. So just always draping it and pushing them to not hide that part of the body was so like life changing. Like they were like, oh my God, because they realized how exposed they felt, how disempowered they felt. So if you don't push yourself to that edge, you're not going to know what the work is, right? So really push yourself. If you have body issues, wear things that are completely uncomfortable for you and get out there because it will show you the places where you get to do the work to be in an empowered relationship with your body. Okay. So hopefully that's making sense. Then here's the other thing. Like if you want to take on changing your body in any way, if you're approaching it from a state of fixing, like that you're going to fix yourself, like you're going to beat yourself to a pulp, like you're going to work really hard. Like, you know, I saw some of you just came in, you're going to work really hard. You're going to sweat it out really hard. Like that mentality of like, you know, like it's a real masculine, like being tough on yourself. That's really not going to get you what you want if you're not in a state of already feeling good in your body. Like I love that type of exercise, not right now because I'm pregnant, but I love that kind of exercise because I feel like it helps me build mental grit. So when I'm dealing with, like when I have a lot on my plate, I will throw in like some, you know, cross training or some Orange Theory or something into my yoga and dance and hiking regime. But otherwise, it's you know, it's not really conducive if you're not feeling in a good and empowered state in your body, because then it's just coming from the mental space of trying to fix yourself. So it can't be from a place of fixing yourself. Now, what you can do is you can start inhabiting your body, right? Inhabiting your body means being in relationship with it. It means being willing to see it in the mirror, naked, and not blur your eyes and not stand far away and not pass by it. And then keep releasing the stories. It's like meditation, you know, like I remember when I was first in my sort of like adult training of meditation, which was making me feel like an insane person because I wanted to run out of the room because I was sitting for like 3 hours a day and I was I was seeing my monkey mind, right? But basically the training of Vipassana, Buddhist meditation, is that you see the thoughts coming and you name them as thoughts and you release them and you come back to the breath. So this is what I'm inviting you to do in the mirror, to be naked, to be in the mirror, and to not blur your eyes, to stand really close and to really get present to this vehicle, this temple that is carrying you through your life. And as the thoughts arise, notice the thought, name the thought, release the thought, come back to the moment, rather than being pulled into the thought as if the thought is a truth. The thought is not a truth. The thought is an ingrained pattern that you've picked up, whether from society or from years of lack of self-care or neglect or whatever it is that's brought you to this state, right? Trauma, there's so many things that could get us there. So your willingness to inhabit it, right? So see yourself in the mirror and then begin just saying nice things to yourself, saying nice things in the mirror to your body, like into your eyes, connect, breathe, like there's a person there. There's like a real person there. Like I like to get in like this close to the mirror and just see, because everything else falls away and there's my eyes. And then I can like go out and come into relationship with my body, right? So saying nice things to yourself. I have a friend, she's a mom of 5, And she was sharing with me about her relationship with her body. And, you know, she's got a beautiful body. She's very slender. She's very tall. You would never think that she has issues, but she hides a lot of her body still, actually. But, you know, she was just sharing with me that one of the things that helped her is when she started speaking nice things to her body. And of course, that makes sense, right? Because we think of Dr. Emoto's study of how consciousness affects water particles, what the intelligence of water molecules. So, and our body is made of mostly water. So, of course, what you're saying to yourself, what you're saying to your body makes a difference, right? So, this is part of the practice of inhabiting your body. I'm going to run through a bunch of stuff for you. Like, I want to give you the how-tos of like how to inhabit your body, how to love your body, how to break out of the shame, regardless of size, age, what have you, right? So, this is really, really important. And, yeah, and this is what I want to say as well. It's not just about weight. Like, I know people that are super slender that hide their figure, you know, but it shows up. It, like, you always see in the body does not lie. Like, either you're carrying the weight from like lots of neglect, or your skin is breaking out because you're not putting live things into your body, or whatever version of that, right? Or you have a belief of your own ugliness or something like that. Or like if your shoulders are super hunched over, like I know when I see someone whose shoulders are hunched over, I know they don't love themselves because they're collapsing in the heart center. So like, how does it take to walk in the world like this, right? And not from a place where it's taking up all this energy to hold you up like this, but that this is like your home. So the body doesn't lie, okay? And here's the other thing, you got to be willing. This is probably one of the most important. You got to be willing to face the shadows. You got to be willing to face the place where you have not loved yourself, and where the thoughts and beliefs and the excuses have manifested into a lifestyle and a way of being that does not make you and your body a priority, right? This is the reality of anything. If you want to change anything, you got to own the shadow. And I'm not talking about just having one aha, right? I feel like there's a danger with ahas, because if you don't have a community of support, or if you don't have a coach or mentor to hold you accountable to move through things, a lot of times we think we've had we've had an aha, but we have an aha. And then we think, oh, that like da 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 da, therefore da 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 da. And it's like, no, I mean, maybe, but that doesn't excuse you from like traveling down the path to create the thing that you said you wanted to create, or heal the thing you said you wanted to heal, right? So owning the shadow, being willing to see the places where you've disowned your body, where you've disowned yourself, your pleasure, and the feminine principle, which is the body. The body is the feminine principle. So like, I really invite you to get real with me here, right? And then also like notice if there is any savior complex, like it, or waiting to be saved, right? Victim, it's a little bit of victim mentality. If you're waiting to be saved, what does that mean? If you're waiting for a program, if you're waiting for a magic pill, if you're waiting for something that'll magically make you love your body, but you're not thinking magically make me love my body, because you've put the reason you don't love your body on something. So you're saying like, I don't love my body because I carry all this extra weight. Or I don't love my body because these men rejected my body, or women rejected my body. I don't love my body because it caused me to, like, it was a perpetrator of me being traumatized. Whatever it is, right? If there's any part of you that's waiting for something else to come and fix you, meaning it's a diet pill, it's a program, it's any kind of like a do it to me rather than me fully taking responsibility, that's one aspect. And another aspect is, what did I write down here? Yeah. And also expecting, so here's this, I see this with a lot of single women, especially like who have like such a resentment towards their bodies. And then they expect somebody else to come and love it. They want somebody else to come and worship their bodies, even though they do not. Right? So that is that victim mentality, because you're not fully taking responsibility. So these are the places to look. Like this is all falling under that shadow piece, right? Where we don't want to look, we don't want to own. And then here's the thing. Yeah, I'll share this with you. So like when I met my husband, my body had changed. Oh boy. Yeah. So I had just stopped dancing. So I didn't have like my tight little dancer body. And I had like the least money I ever had. I had started this nonprofit. I had put all my money into it. Then it had sunk. And I was super stressed. I was super stressed. I was living in LA. I was working 2 jobs. I was really trying to figure it out. I was like getting up at 5 a.m. to teach yoga. I was just so exhausted. No, I was getting up at 4:30 to teach yoga. So anyway, but here's the thing. I gained like about 15 pounds from whatever I had been before. But I was on a devout path to fall in love with myself and my body, like 100%. And like, because it had changed, right? It was easier for me to love it before, even though I always had complaints. I was like, oh, look at this pouch. Like I remember saying to someone I didn't like my stomach, and they were like, "You have like one of the best stomachs I've ever seen." And I, just we all can be a little crazy, but I gained about 15 pounds when I met him, and I was just like, I didn't care. I was just going to love it. I was going to love my rolls, and so from that place, I was able to bring in someone who could see beyond my body, right? And of course, once we got together, like within like 2 to 3 weeks, almost all the weight went away. So here's what I'm saying. It's like, if you don't love your body, but you're expecting somebody else to come and love it, you want somebody else to come and worship it, but you're not willing to do that, and you're not willing to align your actions with that, that falls under the shadow. And this is all me, like, really inviting you into self-responsibility in your relationship with your body. Because if you're wanting to be seen, if you're wanting to be out in the world in any way, like stepping into anything new, whether it's relationship, whether it's visibility, whether it's work, whether it's stage, whatever it is, if you are not handled this relationship with like your home, your temple, it's gonna drag you down, right? So, okay. And so, right, the journey of love and celebration, which has to do with listening to your body about what it wants, right? Like I have a friend and client who's also like, a coach for the Next Beauty Unleashed, Carrie, and she's, Carrie is a voluptuous woman, but she's like performing burlesque, and it's been a long journey for her to get there, but it's been a journey of celebration. So what is the movement your body loves? Now, here's the thing. If you've been stagnant for a long time, this is the reason I say what's the movement your body loves. I'm not saying what does your body want to do? Because I've had people say, well, my body doesn't want to do anything. It wants to sit here. It just wants to sleep. It's like, I understand if you're exhausted, but it doesn't just want to sleep always. Like, it's alive, right? It's got all these functional organs and systems and universes inside of it. It doesn't just want to sleep. Once you get your rest, it wants to do something. So what is the movement it wants to do? And can you be in enough love and celebration of it without trying to change it, to just give it that? To stop withholding from it. Like, it feels everything, right? Our bodies feel everything. They don't lie. Like, the body is the subconscious. That's why, like, the field of somatic psychotherapy. That's why dance therapy. Like, everything, right? There's so much information of who we are, how we operate, our operating system, our current operating system, and what's beneath the surface. So much of that is stored in the body. So you want to really find out what kind of movement does your body love. And you don't always have to be in the mood for it. Like, I went to an ecstatic dance class yesterday morning, and I had gotten like no sleep the night before because this baby keeps me up at times and I don't always get a lot of sleep. So whatever, I was exhausted. It was not like the best dance class in the world. It wasn't like I was like, just in like my ecstatic bliss. I probably touched a moment or two of bliss, like, I don't know, maybe a total of like 4 or 5 minutes in an hour and 15-minute class. But the commitment is, I know that's what my body wants. And if I wouldn't have done it, and I would have said, oh, it would be better for me to try to get an hour of sleep, that was actually not going to be what would keep enhancing this relationship to be one of love and appreciation and mutual support, right? Mutual support, because this is where we live. So here's the thing. Your body is your home. It's your temple. You've heard it 1,000 times, and you are responsible for it. And that is a privilege. It is a privilege. What do you put in it, right? One of the conversations I have a lot with my clients, because it was actually a big part of my journey, is the relationship with caffeine and energy drinks. Like, oh my God, it's so antithetical, because the energy drinks and the caffeine just send the energy from the heart to the head. They do, like, right? And it's a very like energy. It's a more of a yang energy, and it just doesn't allow us to hear what is really going on with the body. So it's an artificial sense of aliveness that helps us mask the places where we are feeling dead. So really wanting you to hear that, all these ways where we get to take responsibility for the privilege of living in these bodies. And yeah. So here's the thing. You can choose to like begrudge this. You can choose to be like, ugh, like be mad at the fact that you are the one responsible for your body and nobody else, right? That you can't just blame it on genetics. You can't just blame it on your crazy work schedule. I don't care what your life is. If you are not in love with your body, there is a place where you are disconnected from your inherent self-worth because you're not showing up for yourself, right? So, or you could choose to take the path of self-love, and you could choose to be okay no matter what size, no matter what shape, no matter how many jiggles, no matter how many rolls. I mean, they change, right? One of the best things I ever heard was from an older woman, and I don't know where I heard it, but she just said to me, she said, I just really much prefer to be fascinated by the aging process. And she was like in her 70s. So she was more like in the fascination of how things were falling down and were moving rather than in like resentment. Because this is the one relationship we'll never be able to get away from. So, and if you came in late, I really invite you to go back and watch from the beginning, because right off the bat, what I was talking about is just that our bodies reflect our commitments, right? And it has nothing to do with being overweight or underweight or hunched over or whatever. It could be a variety of things, but in your relationship with yourself and your body that when you look there, it reflects your commitment, not just visually, but also how it feels. And so it's a choice every day, whether we want to align with a commitment of self-love and self-worth and knowing our value. And honestly, this is such a key thing for me in terms of creating abundance in my life. And it's what I talk to with all my clients. It's what I talk to with my coaches who are taking the calls for the Beauty Unleashed program. It's like they're taking the calls and I'm like, listen, girls, like I need you to be fully taken care of when you show up to these calls. No showing up to these calls from a place of depletion, because they're not going to be able to coach you if they're in a space of depletion, right? And this is like how I create abundance. How I create abundance, because I do have such a strong relationship to my body, is that I put myself in a state of really loving actions, like actions that really ground down my self-worth, that really tell me how worthy I am, that I'm showing the universe that I am most worthy. And it doesn't matter how long the to-do list, right? The to-do list could be so long, I could have like 20 emails from my assistant that all feel urgent to me. And I'm like choosing to go to a dance class and brunch with a friend, like on a weekday. And then I'm going to choose to work later into the evening. But that's how I create abundance, the abundance mindset, which really ultimately is worthiness, right? So here's the thing, and it's not always about wanting to change your body, but really just changing your active relationship to it. And what I mean by that is you can definitely check out and just totally not be in relationship with your body. So I'm saying it's not about changing your relationship to your body, but it is about being in relationship to what is your relationship to your body. Because I also know plenty of people who are just like, right? Body mish body. Like, what? I got work to do. I have a service. I do this. I do that. Or you could go, even it could be like hyper vigil in your relationship to your body. Again, like, it could be somebody who is super fit and super, like, you would look at them and be like, they're vibrant and healthy, but underneath, like, everything is breaking down. And that is a reflection of their fear consciousness and the way that they're relating to life and like their catastrophic thinking around things. So the body does not lie. It shows you your commitments. It shows you where you're residing, where your thoughts are. And this was all in response to some of the questions that have been coming in from the survey that I sent out. And I really appreciate you sending it. And Trudy, I see you're talking about something and putting in some video. Hopefully it's of use and on topic. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, so it's just a major thing for us to be in clear relationship with our bodies. And I really had to, I think it was like, like 3 or 4 years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine and I was just like, oh, like, will I ever have my dancer body back? And then I had to realize, I was like, I think like the work that I do, it's really important that like, I really be okay with if I don't, right? So I stay super active, but I let go of it. I let go of it because I knew that, it would probably be harder to relate to the body that I had, when I was dancing like 6 hours a day and then doing yoga another 4 hours a day. So I just got to let it go because, we live in these bodies and they're so alive and they have so much intelligence to inform us of, but we can't access that if we don't live in them. And that is what I believe is a higher intelligence, like the higher intelligence that is connected to the earth's wisdom, that is the inherent feminine wisdom, that is inclusive and beneficial to all and is not competitive. It's really one that will create aliveness for us and those around us. So that's the intelligence that I believe lives in the body. And I believe we need to live in the body and be in harmonious relationship with the body to have access to all of that. So hopefully this was useful to you. My intention is to just keep going through the survey responses and address your questions. If there's things you want me to actually talk about, feel free to put them in this group as well. You could put them in this thread. You could put them anywhere and just tag me. And I'll hop on and talk to it. I have a long list, and then usually I'm in the middle of doing something else and I get a moment of inspiration to come in and talk on the topic. So the biggest thing I hope you take away is that our bodies reflect our commitment in thought, action, consciousness. So have a look there, be willing to own the shadow, be willing to take responsibility, and then be willing to take action, and be willing to get supported and be in a community so that you know you're not alone, because all women are dealing with some version of some of this, okay? Lots of love. Bye, guys.